Now, the best reasons that you should use game icons in your TCG is because it's a universal language, it's space efficient, and it's a good alternative to keywords. Now, we're going to go into more depth throughout this video to why this is such a huge advantage for your TCG. And remember, if you like what you hear, don't forget to hit the like button. Now let's get started. Right, so let's take a look at game icons and how they can replace keywords within your card game. So let's just say that you had a card. It would normally say you can swap out this card at the end of your next turn or something along those lines. Right, with two game icons, we can put in a swap icon and then we can put in like a delay time icon, like a type of clock. Now in your rulebook, you can put in that this is what this means, you know, the clock could symbolize to be next turn. And of course the rotate would symbolize rotate. So with two small icons, you have described a sentence of text. Now you can compress that down into your card and you've got plenty of room to add plenty of other things if you so choose so. Or you can enlarge them and actually make it a very prominent part of your game to just go like those two icons, that's what that card does. Now let's say that you want to symbolize that your character's been poisoned or your character is capable of poisoning. Okay, we could just take a nice easy symbol. Say we combine this dagger game icon that I've created with the water drop game icon that I've created. Now we've got a dripping dagger. A lot of people will come in with the preconception of that being some sort of poisoned weapon or a poison attack. You know, a lot of people associate swords with attacking, so a dagger isn't too much of a stretch from there as well. So by doing this with one symbol, we're showing that this creature has a poison attack. And once again, your rulebook will explain that a poison attack will leave some sort of status debuff or something like that within that. So you have to think of this as a big positive because you are decluttering the space on your card and your rulebook is just as cluttered as it was previously. There is no extra information on your rulebook. This information will already be in your rules. And another example of a good way to use game icons would be the chain icon that I've made. Now you can just say that this chain effects to something because a lot of people associate that like a chain link, a chain reaction. So that already exists in our language. So to chain link something or chain affect something, you can say, right, so when a poison attack happens, you can chain this with rotating your character out the turn after. So with just a handful of symbols, you've described a wall of text and there's plenty of room to add more to it. Now this idea is what really inspired me to want to make this video for you. I want to come up with a concept of a game that is entirely made of symbols, barring the name of the card, if that makes sense. So say we're going to make a universal card now. Say you had the rule book, everything set up in place, and then you create these symbols. It would have to be a simpler game, but you don't even have to put a word of text in the effects. This means your homemade TCG becomes universal overnight. All you have to do is translate the rule book itself. Once the rule book's translated, all the cards can convert over to any single language. Now the only hitch is the text of the card in converting that to other languages. Obviously you've got like the Slavic languages and you've got the Asian languages that use different sorts of textures and scripts and font. You know what I mean. But in my mind, that would be the only thing that needs to be converted. I mean, essentially, you could even convert numbers. If you were going more simplistic, you could convert them into tally marks. Tally marks are nice and simple. You see one tally, it symbolizes 1, and you can go up to 5. You could put 2 next to each other, make it go up to 10. I probably wouldn't go any higher than that as things would get cluttered, but it's something that all languages could see and understand, even though other languages use different forms of tally marks. The 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 across, very simple, very easy to read. Now, the one little fault I would find with using pure symbols is, of course, there are limitations with how in-depth you can go with the card effects. That is true. And also, the appearance of it may seem a little bit too simplistic for a lot of players. It might put people off, thinking if they only see a handful of symbols rather than a wall of text, they might go, this game maybe is a little bit too young for me, maybe it's a little bit too simple, and they might just disregard it. But of course, you got to think there are many reasons why someone might disregard your game. This is just potentially one more reason. So to sum this part up, say you made a set of 150 cards. You don't have to translate 150 cards. You have to translate one rulebook. And yes, it's going to be very wordy and everything like that, but it's one rulebook. If it was the other way around, you would have to do both anyway. Now you just have to do one. So it should be considered because it will future-proof things, and it's good to have a universal TCG, something in that form. It just intrigues me. I'm not sure if I'm going to pursue it in the future, but it definitely excites me to think about it. And it's something that will be going around in the back of my mind for a long time before I go any further with that idea. Okay, and to round up, I'd just like to say thank you. And remember, there are 100 game icons now. It's in the download. It's in the description below this video. You can click that link. Get a load of game icons to get you started. Some are good, some aren't. Sorry, they're just what I doodle in my spare time. It's what I've been doing while I've been warming up, getting back into drawing some more shard TCG cards because I've been out for a little while. And sometimes psychologically I go, ooh, it's a bit scary having to draw this big elaborate creature. I'll just doodle a little game icon. So now we have 100 game icons in the download link. They're there for you, whether you want them or not, completely free. Hope you enjoy. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.